The hero moved from his place to the red-bearded one like lightning, only the stones flew off his soul from the place where the guy stood. The red executioner looked in surprise at where the sound of falling stones came from. Wai Chong was not there. The man hoped that the stranger got scared and ran away, but the guy was simply too fast for the eyesight of an ordinary person. Concentrating, the young man threw an ordinary pebble, previously lying on the ground, at the red-bearded man. The shell hit the target. The man howled in pain when the stone wounded his forehead, but Hua Young hurried to quickly dodge and crawl away from her tormentor. The man fell to the ground. He was no longer causing harm, and the girl was sitting not far from him, in a state of shock. Wai Chong slowly approached his wife. He was afraid that the scoundrel had managed to harm her and the guy might not make it in time. The Murim envoys watched in amazement as events unfolded on this battlefield. Of course, the guy noticed the presence of not only the bandits, but also the strangers who were fighting them, and asked about the reasons for their coming here. The old man in the hat was frightened by the sight of the guy and how he easily defeated two of the strongest opponents that even the great Shaolin monk could not defeat. Answered the guy Myung-go. He said that envoys were sent from Murim to investigate the case of the disappearance of the Dam clan, and asked if Wai Yung was involved in this. The hero did not even think of hiding the fact that it was he who decided on all the scoundrels and traitors of this clan. The travelers stared at the guy in amazement. They assumed, but still could not believe in the reality of what was happening. Suddenly new voices sounded in the clearing and strangers appeared. The trio from Murim looked at them carefully. A girl and a man were approaching from the direction of the forest. They looked extremely worried. It was clear from everything that these people were in a hurry. The strangers asked if people had seen a little girl who might be running from the direction of the forest. The man looked around and discovered the bodies of a white moon, a red-bearded executioner and twin ghosts. Suddenly a little girl ran towards the woman, who was saved from wild dogs by Hua Young. The man and woman hugged the girl. These were her relatives. Rosso was glad to see her aunt more than anything else. The little girl talked about how Hua Young saved her from inevitable disaster. Aunt Rosso took off her mask and looked carefully at the young woman with a scar on her face. The girl introduced herself as Moon Ji from the Tower of the Four Emperors and thanked Hua Young for saving her niece. The old man in the hat knew who Moon Ji was. She was the princess of the clan. After thinking a little, the man realized that the baby was the daughter of the eldest Prince Moon Gak. The elder also realized that in this clan there is now a struggle for power, which is why people from one clan tried to kidnap the child. The first and second princes are now fighting for the right to lead the clan, and their battle is quite serious. The princess noticed that the village had suffered losses due to their internal squabbles and promised to return to discuss compensation for the damage. These words infuriated Wai Chung, who just pulled himself together. He said that they could not compensate for innocent lives. The man who came with Moon Ji asked the guy to be more polite when he spoke to the ruler's daughter, but the hero didn't care. He approached the stranger and grabbed him by the throat in a fit of rage. The man coughed. Wai Chung asked the old man why he should show respect if their people came and massacred the guy's house. Suddenly, the hero heard the thin voice of the young Princess Rosso. It was unexpected. The girl asked for forgiveness. Wiping away tears, the little girl said that it was because of her that those men came to the village, killed innocent people and started a pogrom. She sincerely asked to forgive her. Wai Chung released his fingers, which he had been squeezing the stranger's throat with, and he lost his balance. While the man was coming to his senses, the hero already knew what he would say to this trio from the castle. The guy told the strangers to get out, and anyone who sets foot on the territory of the settlement without his permission will know no mercy from now on. The whole trio bowed their heads, and the travelers once again asked Wai Chung for forgiveness. Then, the girl picked up the baby in her arms, and the trio soared up, disappearing from the village of Yong. The guy heard the old man in the hat muttering that interfering in the battle between the two princes promises to be a big problem for everyone. Moreover, two of the second's most powerful henchmen fell at the hands of Wai Chong. This will certainly anger their master and he will come to take revenge. The hero turned to the man and seriously asked if he had now begun to worry about their village, or if he had simply decided to clear his mouth. The old man did not understand why the young man considered his words a mockery. He simply stated a fact. Then Wai Chong continued his speech. He said that since Murim is the universally recognized cradle and judge of martial arts followers, but does not intend to help those who suffer from them, is this not sarcasm? The great monk intervened in their conversation. He said that this particular village was not the direct heritage and controlled territory of Murim, therefore intervention would be difficult. The guy said that in this case, the Dam clan, known for its atrocities, deserved what happened to it, if we use the monk's logic. But in fact, Wai Chong wondered if Murim, by reasoning like this, could claim to be a judge in the world of martial arts. The blue dragon sword intervened in the conversation between the men and asked them not to insult Murim. However, no one could stop the flow of Wai Chong's words. He reminded those present of the brutal murder of a woman that happened 3 years ago. She was not only killed, but also subjected to cruel torture, and the eldest son of the Dam family was involved in all this, who did not receive any punishment for his act. He explained to everyone that it was just an accident, and he got away with everything. The hero asked if Murim should then be puzzled by the situation and investigate the matter. The husband of that woman and the witness who testified about what happened were also killed, and the case was quickly hushed up. The old man in the hat was shocked by the information that the guy had. No one could know this, but Wai Chong knew. The hero was angry. He accused Murim of inaction and said that if they only protect the welfare of prestigious families, the alliance cannot claim to be a judge. The travelers became thoughtful and depressed. The guy was telling the truth. They themselves now shared his opinion. Wai Chong said that if men are not going to force him to change his mind, then it would be better for them to back off and not tell the guy what to do. He promised to visit the Murim alliance when the right moment came. The travelers stared in horror at the hero's face, full of righteous anger. They could not believe that Wai Chong was going to personally arrive in Murim. The great monk folded his hands in front of him and stated that the information had been obtained and would be transmitted. It was time for them to leave. The men set off on their journey, leaving Wai Chong with his wife and the semi-ruined village behind. Myung-go found it difficult to leave the woman he loved so deeply once again, but this time, there was nothing he could do. The old man in the hat glanced back at Wai Chong. This young man was not an ordinary townsman and was far from a naive person. Wisdom of centuries reflected in the hero's eyes, and his actions in battle seemed honed by hundreds of years of training. It was best not to be his enemy, for the young man could become a formidable threat. Meanwhile, the princess and her entourage reached the province of Sivan, to its main mountain. The residence of the first son was lit up. The entire house was in turmoil because of the missing girl. The sister brought the girl to her father. Rosso was happy that she had survived and could embrace her dad again. The man couldn't take his eyes off his daughter. He had already envisioned the worst scenarios, and seeing Rosso alive and unharmed was a gift from the gods. The girl told the first prince how she was saved by a woman and a man in the mountain province, and the heir was very grateful to these people for saving his treasure. The man told his sister that they needed to take care of a reward for these people, and the princess suggested that her brother should be generous in this case. The prince was surprised. He didn't understand what his sister meant by being generous to ordinary laborers. Then the girl explained that the man the prince was grateful to had defeated the White Moon and the red-bearded executioner. The power bestowed upon the young man shocked the prince. After this revelation, the heir was even more eager to meet the hero. The girl remarked that the second brother would send strong warriors to the village to avenge their favorites and suggested stopping him. However, the prince rejected her proposal. The man realized how dangerous an opponent this person could be. The heir suggested taking the position of an observer, and if the hero survived, his reward would be much greater than originally planned for saving Rosso. The girl was a bit puzzled by the reasoning of the first prince, but she dared not argue with her elder brother and bowed her head before him. In the quarters of the second prince, no one was sleeping either. The man was beside himself with anger. The first one to face the consequences was the messenger of bad news. He struck the servant with a sledgehammer, and he fell to the floor. The man was outraged, instilling horror in his subordinates. He couldn't understand how some townsmen could defeat his best men, and why they were incapable of catching a mere girl. The second prince was terrifying in his anger. He was out of control, and this was the moment when he couldn't help but be furious. He decided to vent his anger on the servants, expressing his dissatisfaction with what was happening and beating them with available means. He gave orders for his men to go immediately to that settlement and bring the head of the scoundrel who dared to stand in the way to the throne. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments to help the new video come out as soon as possible. Have a great day.